Hi, welcome on board. This is a quick video blog of a trip we did to the South and North Island of New Zealand in 2017. Took over two bikes, my Honda ST1300 and the daughter took a Harley 883 Sportster. We used a company called Get Routed out of Melbourne to container the bikes over to Christchurch. Dave and his crew, absolutely first class. If you follow everything on his webpage, you won't have a problem. Bikes arrived safe and sound, on time, and it was a matter of just getting the bikes unpacked, put together, panniers and everything, and Dave took us around to Motorbike where we had the bikes inspected, 6 months of rego, and we were ready to go. The Motorbike place, even though we put 50 bikes on them, they got through all the bikes in about 3 hours, and nothing was too much trouble. And I think the only problem we had was one of the bikes missed a reflector on the back, and $10 later and that bike was ready to go. We headed out of Christchurch and the weather was really good. We got out of Christchurch fairly early in the morning. We decided to take the inland route through to Darfield. We'd done the South Island in the car many years ago, so we'd seen the coast road. We'd also did it anti-clockwise around through Arthur's Pass, which is really a spectacular ride through that area. As you can see, the roads are in really good condition. Fair amount of traffic on it these days. It seems to be New Zealand is just a really big holiday destination, and we encountered a lot of trucks and camper vans and general tourists. It does pay to keep your eye on the road. We came across in several spots a few international drivers operating on the wrong side of the road, but all in all a really good day. We called at various towns, as I said, Darfield, pulled up for coffee and proceeded along. We were heading for Lake Tekapu where we had lunch, and then our last push was into Mount Cook later on. We obviously had a lot of stops along the way, and we were heading for Lake Tekapo for lunch. The camera really doesn't do justice to the colour of the lakes, and the whole countryside is gorgeous. Both lakes Tekapo and Pukaki, the water looked exactly the same. We proceed along after lunch, and the next set of clips shows us coming down through the road and turn off up to Mount Cook, which runs along that Lake Pakawi. And once again, just a really gorgeous part of the countryside. You can see a bit later on there's a few shots of Mount Cook in the distance. Unfortunately, as I said, the weather started to cloud in a little bit, and by the time we got to Mount Cook there had been a fair amount of mist and light rain. It started to settle in, but that's how it goes. as you can see by the last couple of photos, the day before when we arrived in Mount Cook, the weather had closed in. The next day the sun was out really early, and it stayed with us pretty well for the remainder of our trip around both the South and the North Island. And it's a testament to how lucky we were that in really 28 days on the road we had about 30 minutes of rain, and that was on our last day when we travelled down to Akaroa. Leaving Mount Cook, we travelled along pretty well through a few back roads and caught up on a few sort of lakes along the way. Stopped at Lake Wanaka for lunch, and then made our final push from Wanaka up over the top of the tablelands to Cardrona, where we started to drop down then into a little place called Arrowtown, and finally our destination for that night was in Queenstown. As I said, traffic on most of these roads throughout the day was fairly busy, but we weren't in any hurry, and the countryside and everything just added to the whole experience of the day. Coming down from Cardrona, this was the last of the twisties before we turned off and went into Arrowtown. Really great little interesting little town, originally a gold mining town back in the 1830s and 40s. Now it's predominantly just a tourist town, but there's an awful lot to see, and we pulled up there for coffee and had a quick walk around and stretch the legs, and then we made our last run into Queenstown. There's a shot in a second looking back over my shoulder when we came off the Cardrona Plateau down into Arrowtown. That's a shot there, and the road was a lot of fun, and it was almost worth turning around and going back up if it wasn't for the traffic. We left Arrowtown. It's only a fairly short run into Queenstown. Spent about 3 nights in Queenstown. Kathy and I'd been there before, but it was Lauren's first trip, and she really enjoyed the town. In the winter it's a very popular ski destination, and certainly a party town. As I said, we've been there before, but we did things like the lake cruise on the old steamboat, and we did our trip in the ski lift up to the top of the mountain overlooking Queenstown. There's just so much to do up there. You can spend a whole day tobogganing. A lot of stuff now on the lakes, ski boats, jet boats, and so on.